All right. And as we all know, it's raining outside, and Chattanooga forgets how to drive when it rains. So everyone drive carefully. Came in and had some fun driving. So with that, we will call the meeting to order. Mr. Munford, ask you to come and do our invocation for us, please. Thank you.
Will you pray with me, please? Good and gracious God, you are richly blessing Erlanger Health System. We are very grateful for your blessings. Help us to know how to use these many gifts for the welfare of the hospital and the good and the health of all the people in all the areas in which we serve. I thank you, God, for each person sitting in this room tonight. I pray for strength and peace for each one of them and for their families. And as we enter Thanksgiving season, we thank you for the many, many blessings in our lives. In your wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Everyone should have the agenda in front of them for review for this evening. As always, thank everyone for coming for the show. I appreciate the audience. All claps, no booze tonight, please. The popcorn's up by the Brussels sprouts. It's the green stuff that's healthy. Dr. Keys, I think, has a presentation for us, an update or maybe a completion of the cogeneration. Look forward to hearing what we have.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. And as you know, this is the time that we usually have a special presentation. And this one is a little bit different, but I'm so proud to be able to, or be a part of this introduction of this project and the people behind it. You will know that just off the Blackford Street is where you'll find a project that's gaining worldwide attention for the Erlanger Health System. The hospital joined forces with Chattanooga-based White Harvest Energy to build a multi-million-dollar heat and power facility, bringing major energy cost savings, cleaner air, and more reliable power to the Baroness campus. It all started with a nearly $7 million grant through TVA. This project has been built with ingenuity, and engineering and expertise by local contractors, showing everyone the professionalism, management, and leadership that can be found right here at home. So I'd like to introduce two of the leaders of this project and ask them to come up. First, John Loescher, which is our Vice President for Erlanger Facilities. You all know John. He's Vice President of Facilities, Engineering, and Construction. And also Ben Edgar, and Ben is with the Chattanooga-based White Harvest Energy. Ben is also a Chattanooga native and a graduate of West Point. So we are so very fortunate to have these two very qualified leaders to lead this project. So I'm going to ask them to tell you a little more about that project, and then we have a short video to show you also.
Thank you, Janet. This is a really exciting project for us, and it started out early when I first came into town. We were looking at opportunities to reduce our energy cost, and one thing that was identified was combined heat and power. It's a terrific technology. It works well at hospitals, and we were kind of wrestling with that and some other opportunities for energy savings, and the cost of doing it initially was stopping us from moving forward. And I met this gentleman here, Ben Edgar, and Ben brought to me the TVA grant proposal and said, hey, have you guys ever thought about combined heat and power? And I said, as a matter of fact, we have been thinking about it. So we kind of collaborated, put a plan together, applied for the grant. As you know, we were awarded the grant for the incentive money, and we are about 1 month away or less to being fully operational. So I'd like to show you this quick video, give you a little bit of information, then we'll answer any questions.
Erlanger will now be able to generate their own electricity and capture the heat from that process and use it in their energy plant.
The vision was for sustainable, clean energy and also for cost savings.
We're looking at savings over $1 million a year annually on energy costs.
So this project's unique because it's a very large combined heat and power facility. We're going to create a lot of electricity. In this case, the hospital's got such an energy need that they use it all exclusively at the hospital.
This innovative project puts Erlanger at the forefront. We are going to be able to not only save energy, but increase tremendously our reliability. In the event of an ice storm, tornado, cybersecurity, anything happening on the grid, Erlanger will be able to keep full operations with emergency power backup on hand. It's very unique, and it kind of puts us on the cutting edge of reliability and sustainability.
What this engine does is it will generate electricity, and then it'll capture all the heat off of the engine in the form of hot water, and then it'll use the exhaust to generate steam.
We will use the steam for process heating and space heating, but we'll also capture hot water and turn it into chilled water. That chilled water will be used for air conditioning and space cooling.
Erlanger's really doing it right. They're running off cleaner natural gas, and they're replacing some of the natural gas that they have to burn already for the steam and for some of the hospital's needs. And what they're doing is they're using it much more efficiently. There's over 200 combined heat and power plants at hospitals in the United States. However, the way that Erlanger's putting this one in a modular fashion really cuts down on construction and engineering and allows you to do it in a much more cost-effective manner. So much of the project is pre-built in the factory and then delivered on site here. So that means much more of the construction, the engineering is done in a factory setting, and then it's just installed here. It's really one of the first hospitals in the U.S. to use this approach. And it's done by contractors that are here local to Chattanooga, that are used to working at the hospital here, and engineering teams that know the facility very well.
Any time at Erlanger is a big deal because everybody in Chattanooga area comes to Erlanger. Everybody knows Erlanger. So it's a big deal for us. We enjoy working here. We know people. We come here ourselves. So we want to make everything as best and calm as it can be when we work for Erlanger.
Erlanger is already providing world-class patient care in many arenas, and now we are providing world-class clean energy, reliable energy, and moving us forward to the next generation.
Sure, I guess maybe to say a little bit more about the project. We're really excited just to be a part of it. I think the video talked about everything that the facility does for Erlanger. Go ahead and stop that real quick. But you know, I think even above and beyond, if you pay attention to what happens or what's going on in the energy industry in general, this facility is going to be state of the art nationwide. So there's a lot of talk about microgrids and whether that microgrid can seamlessly transition. There's a lot of technical stuff behind that. That's what you have here at Erlanger. So really this is a state-of-the-art, top-notch facility that we'll be able to brag about collectively to anybody in the nation. So I really think we're going to be at the forefront in the energy field as a result of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Everyone has in your packets the minutes from our October 4th meeting. You'll remember we delayed our September meeting for the final audit. So this is the magic month where we're going to have 2 board meetings in October. So I will, here at our October 25th meeting, ask or I'll entertain a motion to review and put the minutes from the October 4th meeting in the permanent record.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second from Ms. Mines. All in favor of putting the minutes in the permanent record? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you very much. On to committee and subcommittee reports. Mr. Haas, did Budget and Finance meet since our last meeting?
Yes, we did meet, and we've got a couple of resolutions that I believe Dr. Jackson is going to be talking about, but we did review the quarterly financial report, which I think Britt's going to come back and speak to us a little bit, so we had a good meeting.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Griffin, did Planning Committee meet?
Yes, we met on Monday.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Smart, Audit and Compliance?
We met today.
Okay. Mr. Webb, Legal Committee?
No.
No. Mrs. Mines, Management Board Evaluation?
Yes, we did, and we'll be coming back to the November meeting with a recommendation.
Okay, thank you very much. And the Executive Committee did meet, no specific items or resolutions to report. Any other unfinished business from the board members before we get to our resolutions for the evening? No? Okay, Dr. Jackson, the floor is yours for resolution, looks like you've got two, so resolution 181006 and 07.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Prior to introducing both resolutions, just want to make a few introductory remarks that I presented at Budget and Finance the other evening, may give some context to the board relative to our primary care strategy and how these resolutions tie into it. We've really had three different elements to our primary care strategy over the course of the past several years. The first piece of that, which has really been spearheaded by Dr. Melanie Blake, Dr. Bill Moore Smith, has been trying to raise the level of quality across the entire enterprise throughout our primary care network. This has been, I think, very well established by accreditation process. So National Committee for Quality Assurance ranks development of patient-centered medical homes, which is really the best standard for how you deliver care in a comprehensive, multidisciplinary way and improve access. All 17 of our practices under their leadership have achieved level 3 status, which is the highest status you can reach. And so we've really developed a quality and safety structure on our primary clinics that I think is enviable throughout the region and the state. Second approach is consistent with what we've talked about in the retreats relative to moving from volume to value, trying to make sure that we look at other means of making sure patients have access, making sure we get appropriately paid for the services we provide, and then trying to improve the level of quality consistent with the patient-centered medical home model. This is tied with our approach to the Vanderbilt Health Affiliated Network, where we are with that clinically integrated network, as well as development of comprehensive primary care plus clinics. We are piloting that in 4 of our clinics, and with Dr. Blake's leadership, Dr. Steve Adams, our CMIO, we have done very well over the course of the first year with that. Part of the network with Vanderbilt, we've also entered into an accountable care organization model that Greg Gentry is overseeing. And so we've started to move in that direction as well, which is consistent with where the industry is moving. The third piece, which ties into the resolutions tonight, is make sure we're improving the access points for the region, and that we can expand upon what we've built with quality and the value piece. Many of you know, within the past couple months, we opened a clinic in Saudi Daisy. And so these 2 resolutions will continue that progress in terms of us making sure the region can access Erlanger primary care. So the first resolution, 181006, is going to be for us to enter into a lease agreement to the total over a 10-year term of $1,886,541. This will allow for us to open a primary care access point with potential for multidisciplinary and multi-specialty care in those clinics as well. And it's in a site that is north of our current location. Mr. Gibson and I are available to answer any questions the board might have around this.
Questions? Comments? I have a question, probably not related to this, but since you're here and talking about this, you know, we're driving this in primary care, and we have, you say all 17 sites are level 3 certified.
The sites that we'd had previously, Saudi Daisy, not as of yet, but the other
Okay.
ones, Jack, that's correct.
Is that, what's the next step after that? I mean, does that flow down, you know, into the main campus here? Is that something that stays there? What's the next step on that?
Well, when you talk about next step in terms of continuing to maintain access and quality,
Sure.
the key thing is when we're looking where we're going with Vanderbilt, around making sure it's integrated, we have a network that consistently can deliver high-quality care that makes sure that the access points are there. There's certain parameters that NCQA and other accrediting agencies want to make sure that you have. Some of that includes making sure that we've got hours that work for patients. So not just hours of work for Erlanger and for the physicians and the APPs, but making sure patients have access, making sure that we have people that can move them throughout the network. So as all of us know, you see your primary care physician and they may ask for a referral. Okay? How do we make sure that they get the referral in a way that is timely and is consistent with their own schedule? In addition, making sure that we've got navigators that can help them through that care process, particularly when they have complex diseases. Many of our patients, particularly in this region, unfortunately have a lot of comorbidities. They may have COPD, congestive heart failure, diabetes, complex disease states that require multi-specialty care. And part of this allows for us to make certain that we've got the right locations to serve the community, as well as making certain that the ability to raise the bar for how these patients access services is there as well.
Okay. Comments, questions? So, other comments or questions? The two resolutions are basically a mirror of each other, just they're for two different locations.
So the second resolution, 181007, is, again, it will be south of our current location,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. And the cost of lease over that 10-year term is $1,275,903.
And these were just, sorry, this is budget and finance questions, but these items were not in the original budget, and that's why we're looking at them
That's correct.
in addition to?
That's correct.
No, wait a minute. That's not right.
Okay.
Well, right. You're correct. It was not in the original budget. But it'll be next year, it'll be our next budget.
Yes.
That these expenses will come into.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, all right.
But it was not in the projection.
I knew this was confused. I got a little confused.
You're good, you're right.
It's late in the day.
So, Mr. Chairman, do you need separate motions?
We'll vote on them both individually, so, if there's no further questions, I'll take a motion on 181006.
I move to approve 181006.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? All in favor of 181006? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Okay, 181006 passes, and we'll now entertain a motion for 181007.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Dr. Baxter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you very much, Dr. Jackson, and I would, just as a personal point, let's make sure we get Sadi Daisy and these two, when they're up and running, make sure they get the level 3 certification. Keep that streak.
We'll work
That
with
gets us
that,
to
Mr.
20,
Chairman.
right?
I'm sorry?
That'll move us to 20?
Yeah, the Lord willing, that will be the case.
Nice round number, I like it. Does it happen in the first year, or is it a multi-year process?
It is a multi-year process.
Okay, so we shouldn't expect that immediately.
No.
It takes some process. Okay.
I under
6
promise and
months,
over
9
deliver,
months, what are we
Jack,
talking
on
about?
that, yeah. If I could, Mr. Chairman, just in closing, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Mr. Gibson, our SVP of Physician Services, Meredith O'Keefe, who's in the back, and Ryan Pfizer, who's over our real estate. 3 of them done yeoman's work on this, and again, Meredith's reports to me, so props to her in particular, because she's really gone above and beyond burning the candles, and I need to point that out. So thank you for your support on this.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. And team. All right. Don't believe we have any particular informational items other than for our upcoming board meetings, your committee meetings as well, but we will have a board meeting November 29th. And although I don't have the formal words that Jeff gave me last time, I will remind everyone, now that Phil's here, as opposed to just assigning him things in absence, we will be having our officer elections at that meeting. So any nominations will run through our board secretary, Mr. Smart over here. With that, we will move on. Dr. Sizemore, do you have a report for us this month?
I just wanted to inform the board, the medical staff is going to have its annual meeting on December the 6th. A couple of items of action there will be our medical staff elections, as well as we're working with the legal team here, along with our representatives, to try to bring the Murphy medical staff under our bylaws. We're looking at their bylaws and our bylaws to try to get that done by the end of the calendar year.
Okay. Other than, is there anything that this board or any attendance of this board could be helpful in that meeting?
Not that I'm aware of at this point.
Dr. Shack.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Lots of things going on at the College of Medicine, as most of you all know, and I'll just give a quick recap. And from the standpoint of the chair searches, we've completed the search for the family medicine new chair. That individual has been named, but we're just negotiating his package now, and that's going to be Dr. James Haynes, who's a current faculty member, very well respected in the community as well as nationally for his role in leadership in family medicine. The OBGYN chair is really just getting started. We have appointed Dr. Steve DePasquale as the interim chair. Steve's doing a great job of trying to resurrect a program that was really in shambles when the former chair left. He's made a lot of great progress, and we're negotiating his contract for the interim chair position, and that's ongoing with Erlanger and UT, and I think we'll get that resolved within the next few days, I'm hopeful. But Steve's doing a great job. The plastic surgery chairs and chair searches and internal search, we have one internal candidate. The committee's interviewed him. I think they're going to come forth with a recommendation in the next week or so to appoint Dr. Mark Brzezinski as the new chair of the Department of Plastic Surgery. Orthopedics is also just getting started. They've got several good candidates that were recommended by the search firm, and so they have not brought anybody to campus yet. But one of the individuals actually has been here a few times. His wife is Steve Adams' sister, so they come to Chattanooga regularly. And he's currently at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, very strong candidate, but other strong candidates out there as well. There's a female candidate who's an orthopedic oncologist who's at Wake Forest, and that's something we really need on this campus. We have no orthopedic oncology service here to speak of. So I think that would be a great, if she's the right person for the job, having an ortho-onc person on board would be a great thing. The new executive dean in Memphis has been named. That's Dr. Scott Strom. Scott was the chairman of the Department of ENT, head and neck surgery and otolaryngology at University of Maryland for the past decade or so. Very well respected cancer surgeon, a lot of research efforts. He will be coming to Chattanooga just for a very brief visit the week after Thanksgiving. You'll be here that Monday. I think that's correct. Am I right about that? You'll be here on November the 19th, which is that's the week of Thanksgiving. But he'll only be here for a day, so we've arranged a schedule. I wanted him to meet with the executive committee of the board, and I think that you all have agreed to do that. It's really not a meeting to accomplish any goals, just a meet and greet really for you all to get to meet Dr. Strom and see who he is, and I think you'll be very impressed with him. He's also going to be meeting with other key leaders on the hospital side as well as the medical school side while he's here. But he's really only going to be here for, he's coming in on Sunday night and leaving on Monday afternoon, so it's going to be a flash trip for him. He's heading from here to go to, he's coming from Knoxville, he's going to then go to Nashville and then back to Memphis. But he's a great guy. I think you all really like him. We have expanded our cardiology fellowship from 3-a-year to 4-a-year. As you all know, we've also in the process of creating 2 new fellowships, one in pulmonary medicine and the other in sports medicine. That's non-operative sports medicine through the family medicine department. And the paperwork to get those established is well underway. Hopefully we'll be able to start recruiting candidates into those jobs for the next academic cycle. We are currently in the interview process for new interns. It'll start next summer. Many of the programs have already had candidates come to campus, so as I do every year, I'll remind you, if you see a group of young people in dark suits walking around, be nice to them.
It's the only time they wear suits.
Yeah, the only time they wear dark suits when they come to interview. I'll just remind everybody that match day for the new interns is March 15th. We're scheduled at the Hunter Museum again this year. Hopefully as many of you as possible will be able to attend. It's a very meaningful ceremony for the medical students. We are planning a trip to Memphis in late November to recruit UT medical students to come to this campus, both for their clerkships during their 3rd year, but also to come back and do their postgraduate residency programs here. And so that sums up my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I have one request to make of the board, to consider at least. The request, as you all know, Dr. Mack Worthington retired as the chairman of the Department of Family Medicine just recently. We had his retirement party at the country club last weekend. It was very well attended. Many of the former residents came. I've had an appeal from the current faculty and many of the former residents to honor Dr. Worthington by naming the family practice building after him. That requires board approval. Of course, I can't even make the recommendation. I'm just asking you all to consider it. Dr. Worthington's been chairman of the Department of Family Medicine for 20 years. I mean, he's a very respected and beloved individual. So I think this honor would be very, very, very apropos for him. So I would like the board to at least give that some consideration. And it really wouldn't cost anything other than just some signage out front of the building, saying Mack Worthington Family Practice Center. at Erlanger.
Personally, I think I think that's a great idea. I think the proper order, Jeff or Greg, please correct me, would be to run that up through the planning committee.
Right.
I think that's where it goes, and I think
Well,
we can.
Jeff can give me some direction.
We can put that, unless there's any objection, we'll have the actual discussion at committee level and then bring it up.
Right, I just wanted to get that out there for y'all's consideration, and that completes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Shack. Mr. Spiegel, your CEO report.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Last week, the Tennessee Hospital Association had their annual meeting. Erlanger clinical staff had 19 poster presentations at the annual meeting, and that was out of a total of 39. So overwhelming penetration of the clinical staff at Erlanger, nursing staff, physicians, respiratory, a whole lot of other departments were there. That is also the time when THA and the American College of Healthcare Executives have their annual awards, and they do them together. THA award recipient for leadership excellence this year went to Terry Ellis, our Director of Respiratory Therapy. At the ACHG THA Awards Breakfast, the Senior Level Executive of the Year for Tennessee went to Britt Tabor. And they also give a board member recognition. The board member's meritorious award for this year went to Erlanger's Board of Chairman, Jack Studer. So congratulations, everybody. Erlanger sponsored the Chattanooga Market this past Sunday. I was there bright and early with some of our attendings, and it was well attended by all. So thank marketing for pulling it together, all the clinical departments that were represented there. There were a whole host of physicians by Erlanger Medical Group there in white coats and taking blood pressures and doing lots of things for the community. The turnout was unbelievable. Combined heat and power plant will be online this November. Total cost of the project is $13 million, including a TVA grant of $6.75 million. Congratulations, John, and your whole team for putting that together. Quarterly medical staff met on October 15th. Over 200 physicians were in attendance. Chief of Staff, Dr. Sizemore, and our CMO gave reports regarding an update on quality and what we're doing for the enterprise. Was unbelievable. And I also gave the state of the healthcare, gave a presentation over the progress over the last 5 years. Dr. Miller from neurosurgery gave an update on our neurosurgical practice, as well, giving all different things that we're doing within neurosurgery. And there was also a patient trauma that was also went over at that meeting as well. The Children's Hospital Outpatient Center, now known as the Kennedy Outpatient Center, will be open this December. We're looking forward to seeing everybody at those events, and we're going to be seeing patients in late December. More communication about the exact ribbon cutting ceremony with our government officials, and lots of invitations went out for our elected officials in Washington, and hopefully we'll know who those elected officials are in Washington and governor, and hopefully they'll all be here in Chattanooga to cut that ribbon for the children of our community. As we're not going to have a meeting between now and Thanksgiving, I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a healthy and happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. And I will be sending out my annual Thanksgiving wishes and thanks to everybody that supported this enterprise. Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Spiegel for the board? Okay. With that, I don't believe we have any ad hoc reports from trustees or officers unless someone feels called to add. I will direct everyone again to our November 29th board meeting, and you will be, it's not on here, it sometimes is, all of your committee meetings. Look to your committee chairs and Kitty to help keep us on task with that. With that, we will be adjourned. We'll go upstairs and do our credentialing. Thank you very much.